China has poured cold water on U.S. President Donald Trump's comments, talking up the prospects of a deal to end their trade war. Beijing refuting the American leader's assertion that the two sides are involved in active negotiations over tariffs.
目前，中美之间未进行任何经贸谈判。任何关于中美经贸谈判进展的说法，都是捕风捉影。 没有事实依据。
Mr. Trump earlier this week said duties on goods from China will not be as high eventually as the 145% his administration has imposed, and that there was direct contact between the two sides every day. But his Treasury Secretary said there were no formal negotiations with China. Meanwhile, Vietnam says it has begun its own talks with the United States, its trade minister reiterating the country's readiness to negotiate and to resolve issues of concern, as Hanoi seeks to stave off a massive 46% tariff that's on pause. These are on pause until July. The Southeast Asian nation has to tread a fine line between ties with the United States, its biggest export market, and with China. Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Hanoi just last week, urging the communist country to join forces in upholding free trade. Vietnam was the region's biggest purchaser of Chinese products, buying more than $160 billion worth of goods last year. South Korea also looking to navigate its way out of a 25% tariff imposed by the United States. Acting President Han Duck Soo says his government will do its best to find a win-win solution in trade talks with Washington today. CNA's Lim Yun-suk tells us more.
South Korean acting President Han Duck Soo was at the National Assembly on Thursday morning to deliver a speech on state affairs and seek cooperation in passing an extra budget of 12.2 trillion won, about $8.5 billion. In his speech, he also said the government hopes to find a win-win solution during trade talks with the U.S., with the South Korean delegation currently in Washington.
정부는 국익이 최우선이라는 원칙 하에 무역 균형, 조선, LNG 3대 분야를 중심으로 양국이 상호 윈윈 할 수 있는 합의점을 모색하기 위해 총력을 다할 것입니다.
Han Duck Soo told lawmakers that Parliament needed to approve the extra budget as quickly as possible to counter risks to the country's economic growth. He said the budget would be used for purposes like building homes for the victims of the March wildfires and promoting special urban regeneration projects for completely destroyed villages, as well as to prevent a liquidity crunch among export businesses affected by the U.S. tariffs.
이번 추가 경정 예산안이 국민께 든든한 힘이 되어드리고 우리 경제의 회복과 도약의 소중한 마중물이 될 수 있도록 정부가 제출한 추가 경정 예산안을 조속히 심의 의결해 주실 것을 간곡히 부탁드립니다.
Reaction from the floor was mixed. There was applause from the ruling party side, but several lawmakers from the opposition walked out of the main hall even before Mr. Han ended his speech. The opposition-controlled parliament last year slashed the government's budget proposal for this year. It was the first time Parliament did so without consent from government ministries or between rival parties. Impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol has cited the budget cuts as one of the reasons for his martial law declaration, as it would paralyze basic government functions. Lim Yun-suk, CNA, Seoul.